Hi, this is Chichi, and welcome to the Liminal Minds podcast, where minds color beyond the margins.
Lovely people, welcome to the Liminal Minds podcast, the space where we explore the complex and beautifully human stories of people living with mental illness and neurodivergence alongside those who love and support them. I'm Ngunu, your host, and this is where we honor the in-between spaces, those liminal moments where understanding deepens, stigma dissolves, and authentic connection thrives. Here on the Liminal Minds, we believe that every story matters. Whether you're navigating your own mental health journey, supporting a loved one, or simply seeking to understand the diverse landscape of human experience, this podcast is for you. We share real stories, honest conversations, and the wisdom that emerges when we create space for vulnerability and truth. So this is the 4th episode. You can check us out on YouTube and Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the Liminal Mind Pod. Thank you. So today we are diving into something that touches all of our lives, how mental illness and neurodiversity intersect with our most important relationships. Because here's the thing, we don't exist in isolation. Our mental health journeys ripple through our connections with partners, family members, friends, and communities. Sometimes these relationships become sources of incredible strength and healing. Matimes zingine tu ni they present unique challenges that require patience, understanding, and intentional care. So the question is, how do we navigate love when anxiety shows up uninvited? What does it look like when you're trying to build intimacy while managing depression? Na pia some neurodivergent traits, how do they influence the way we connect, communicate, and care for one another? I'm thrilled to welcome someone who has dedicated her career to exploring exactly these intersections. Meet Chichi, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the founder of Holistic Relational Therapy. Chichi brings both professional expertise and deep compassion for her work, helping individuals and couples navigate the beautiful complexity of relationships while honoring their mental health journeys. She's also the co-founder of Marriage and Family Therapy Collective, a group practice aimed at housing marriage and family therapists in Kenya with the focus of establishing and solidifying the presence and importance of the MFT profession. Chichi is also the current treasurer of the Systemic Family Therapy Association, Kenya. Chichi's clinical focus is on relational health in couples and families, most specifically addressing childhood emotional trauma and its impact in adult and couples systems, where therapeutic aim is on establishing healthy relational patterns with emphasis on healing attachment wounds. Chichi values personal development and looks at life as an ongoing dialogue with self, others, and the world. For fun, she participates in a book club. Na kwa nini mimi book club sikuwa which she started that meets monthly to read and discuss African literature, as she believes in the power of stories, in its ability to create and change meanings about who we are. Chichi, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Ngunu. Nice to be here.
Thank you again for gracing us with your presence. We are grateful that you've taken your time. Hii Monday na hii baridi yote. That you're here with us. This is the second time I'm hosting you in a space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the first time is with now the bigger group that where the Liminal Minds. Yes. Which is the people like us.
Mm-hmm.
But hata kabla tujaenda mbali, how was your week?
The week?
Yes.
Last week or this last week?
Or rather your weekend.
Weekend.
Your week that led up to the past weekend.
Last week was very there's a lot going on for me personally.
Yeah.
Some things on the family front. Okay. I'd also just come back from leave, so work was also on my back.
Yes.
Trying to get back into a full schedule. Yeah. The weather wasn't so bad though. Like it was, there were moments of sunshine, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And then I had a very engaging social weekend. Loved hanging out with my my friends. My sister also came over, made chapos for me, and that was so sweet.
Listen, on this pod we love chapos.
You do?
Yes,
so
very much. Very much. Kabisa. Chapos, chapati and tea is always welcome on this pod.
Always welcome. Yeah. No, that's a love language for sure.
Kabisa.
Yeah, so I had a good weekend. Honestly, can't complain. I'm looking forward to a better week.
Inshallah. So today, as I'd mentioned earlier, when I was preparing for this, I had conversations with people, and many people are excited about this. Because I was also telling the person behind the mic that this is one of the more, like if we had a live audience for this, people will come because not so many people have, the difficult conversations about the intersection of mental health, neurodiversity, and relationships. And literally, like, I don't think it's the one thing that when it comes to our day-to-day lives, that these struggles affect mostly. It affects maybe apart from the physiological effects, when it comes to the quality of life, the relationships naumia kabisa. But yes, I've given people your bio, but as we start, can you probably tell people how, a bit about your background as a therapist and what do you to working with people, people with neurodivergent individuals and people with mental health conditions? Like how was it something that you'd thought of before going to uni, or you? Yeah,
that's a good question. And I find that every time I answer that question, there's new insight.
Yes.
But I will say that from very, very early on, my introduction into psychology was from when I was doing my A-levels. And one of our classes, one of the classes, the initial classes, talked about how human behavior is shaped. The things that you think are done by certain people, let's say evil, maybe police brutality. Like that's not, that's something that was conditioned for that person to create that harm. So something that they went through, conditions were set just right for someone to behave a certain way. And that was very interesting to me. And so that's the reason I wanted to know more. Then did my undergrad in psychology. During the process of doing that, I realized that the area in which psychology makes sense to me is when, yes, human behavior, but also how it impacts relationships. Because as you started the podcast, the introduction saying, we are not isolated beings. Wherever we are in this world, from the moment we're born till the moment we die, we'll be we'll exist in relationships, in connections to someone, to something, to people. And so if we're not addressing the health of those relationships, we're not having a conversation about wellness, emotional well-being, mental well-being. We are missing a huge chunk of who we are at the core of ourselves, which is relationships. So marriage and family therapy as a specialization of psychology, it really is about relationships and diving deep into the things that we struggle. So bringing in now mental health conditions, neurodivergence, those things come with symptoms, or those conditions come with symptoms that impact daily functioning. And so how looking at relationships, your relationships either exacerbate those symptoms, are the cause of those symptoms that you're struggling, and are your relationships are where you'll find the treatment to these symptoms. So it's not changing the person. So when we talk about neurodivergence, we're not saying we're curing ADHD, for example. How can you, a person who is living with ADHD, live well enough? Your relationships can help you do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I guess.
So that gives me a lot of joy thinking about, or creates a spark inside me. Like, how can our relationships work for us to help us function healthily, to help us get the most out of life? Because we're not here just for, to work, to get married, to buy the cars, to sleep and to die. There's a lot out of life that you can get out of, and our relationships can be conducive. We have the opportunity and the power to make our relationships and our environments conducive for us to get to that, to make the most out of life.
Yeah. So because what I wanted to ask next was how often you come across some of these maybe the challenges and the struggles, how often you come across where they intersect with the relationships. But from your answer, from what you've said, like I tend to imagine then it's a lot. It comes across so often. But then again, like maybe for people who haven't thought about this, how does this manifest? Like, so in your practice, like maybe you can give an example of maybe illustrate of paint a picture of how these challenges uniquely maybe impact relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think I do a lot of couples work. Yeah. So I see a lot of couples. Yes. I love it. Yeah. And imagine, so let me paint a picture of a couple that I'm seeing, and a spouse has an autism diagnosis. Yeah. And so they're coming because of relational challenges, right?
Yeah.
If we're not in consideration of the spouse's autistic tendencies or symptoms, then there's a piece there that we're missing. Yeah. So especially when talk about relational, how do I call it? Relational closeness, emotional closeness, conflict resolution even.
Yeah.
That's typical of a relationship, right? Like if you're married or just in a romantic relationship, you will go through situations that need you to, that will create a lot of maybe emotional stuff for you, would need you to resolve them. Someone who has autism can struggle with emotional regulation.
Yes.
And you are here as a therapist trying to build, you're not seeing individuals, you're seeing the system.
As a unit, yeah.
So in this system, how do we resolve conflict where it's not just about the person who's struggling with emotional regulation because of their diagnosis?
Yeah.
The other spouse who's neurotypical also needs to feel regulated well. They need their views to be heard. They're struggling. Their needs matter.
100%, yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And so what some of the things I've done is to just, first of all, a lot of psychoeducation for the spouse who is neurotypical. You know, do you really understand what it means to be autistic, what it means to have ADHD, what it means to have bipolar, what it means to struggle with a mental health illness that impacts your behavior and your functioning. You're not going to show up the same.
Yeah, like maybe how these particular symptoms, how they translate to this person. Because because one of the things that we ADHDers struggle with is also emotional dysregulation, but for different people, it the things that trigger this, the thing that maybe we struggle with the most, it does not compare. Like we all suffer, we all struggle differently.
Yeah. Exactly. So the neurodivergent partner most of the time they do struggle with processing the emotion, communicating that emotion. They can feel overwhelmed with all the expectations required of them. So if someone, let's say if you have ADHD and you can feel very overwhelmed by situations or emotions.
Yeah.
And that can come across as you don't care.
100%. Yeah.
And you feel, and you know that you do.
Yeah.
And so you have all this internal conflict, like, I know it looks like I don't care, but I really do care. Yeah. And then that disconnect can make you then withdraw.
Yeah.
And the more you withdraw, because you just feel like this is a lot, I'm not being understood. Yeah. I'm hurting this person.
And this person that you really care for.
Yeah. And so this connection starts to happen, and it's so like the rupture starts to happen. And it, as a therapist, seeing this in the couples that I work with, it really, I'm filled with a lot of empathy because the intention there is to care for each other.
Yeah.
But it's like you're missing each other so much.
It's like people talking different languages.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Exactly. And so trying to create what I'm learning is to appreciate I appreciate the uniqueness of that relationship for them.
Yeah.
And I highlight that as a strength.
Yeah.
How can your relationship is unique because of all these things that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Your spouse dealing, and also this is not, I don't only, it's not only that one person in the couple system is struggling. Could be both of them.
Yeah.
Neurodivergent.
And that is a whole different
That's a whole different conversation because now it's you have to literally create your own language. Literally.
Yeah. I know a couple of people right now who are nodding their heads from their experiences.
Absolutely. And so some of the stories can feel very a lot to navigate, very difficult to process, to manage. And I have a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
And so I try to, going back to that strength-based stories, I try to bring out, well, what is it? Your relationship is, yes, unique. What are these strength-based stories that you can honor and appreciate even as you're struggling with these things? Because I keep reminding my couples, what you're struggling with is just a matter of you probably don't have the skills to communicate well.
Yes,
it's not that you don't know what you need. You know what you need.
Yeah.
You know what you need.
Yes.
You can, from the partner, it's how do I create that language, as you said?
Yeah.
And how do because communicating it is a skill.
Yeah.
You can know what to say, but you may not know, you know what you need, but you may not know how to communicate it for it to be met.
Yeah.
Because you can say, I'm feeling sad, but if you're not telling me what helps you feel less sad, maybe I'll just listen to you. And then you feel like I'm not doing anything. But you probably didn't communicate what works for you or what you need, how you need me to show up for you. To show up for, and how I can show up for you with my own in my own neurodivergent ways. How can I just be me? How can I be me and also meet your needs?
Yeah.
Actually, that's the thing. How can I be myself and be in connection with you and it's being okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How that has taken a different tangent I never thought of. How are you able to distinguish between maybe recognizing an individual in a couple whose needs they need to figure out for themselves versus maybe a need that has to be catered for in the union? How is there a way that maybe, and this goes for both maybe someone who's neurotypical and maybe someone who's neurodivergent, or maybe someone who's struggling, maybe they struggle with something like depression.
Right.
How is there a way that you're able to capture it? Because one of the hard truths that I've had to learn by experience, there are needs that will just never be met. Needs that probably you want in let's say in a romantic relationship that are never going to be met by this person, not due to lack of care or lack of interest. It's just that the battle is bigger within yourself than maybe what you'd require from another person.
Yeah, that's a good question. First, deep dive into who you are as a person. Yeah. So most of us we aren't socialized from childhood to know ourselves.
Yes.
You end up later on in life when life has beaten you, and you come to come to Jesus moment with yourself and you're like, actually, who am I?
Yes. And they probably happen every couple of years.
Yes. Yes. You go through something that literally stops you in your tracks and you're like, wait, who am I?
Yeah.
And so what I check in with clients when I notice questions or even just the way they show up is from a place where they are unsure. A lot of their responses and how they approach things are based off could be societal expectations, parental expectations, their background expectations. And so when I notice that, I bring it up with them. But where do these narratives about self come from? To me, it sounds like they're coming from all these other areas.
Yeah.
If you had to speak up for you, what would you say?
Yeah.
If you had to write a story about who you are, your perception of yourself, what would that look like? And then once they paint that picture, We're able to see whether it's we're able to track themes.
Yeah.
So for some people, there's a theme. Their themes are either positive or negative. Like the main themes are either positive or negatives. And again, touching into our socialization, our history as a country, history as Kenyans, we talk about colonization, a lot of pain rooted there.
Yeah.
And that translated to how we were taught, the teachers, the kinds of schools we went to, the kind of parents that we had, parents who, for better or for worse, were emotionally immature in the sense that they didn't understand their own emotions. They didn't prioritize their own well-being. And so the way they parented us was from a place of pain. And so majority of the themes that come along, that form as we grow up and we become adults, are negative themes of self. So either overachieving for worth, performing for worth. Our worth is tied to something that we do. And so by the time I meet couples or meet individuals in adulthood who don't know themselves, that's where I start. I'm like, where do these stories of self first come from? If they were problematic in the sense that they were harmful, unhealthy, negative, then we start to talk about what self-worth means and that you have worth and value. And that's a good and positive thing, and it's inherent. Anything else about self that is negative was informed by some experience, was informed by other people in your life. And it's not it's not you. It came from somewhere.
You have to figure out what is there upstream that caused where we are right now.
Exactly. So at that point, then it's just a lot of inner work, self-work on self-worth, self-value, self-identity, self-concept, knowing self first. Because when you're able to do that, it becomes easier to advocate for yourself in the context of a relationship. You're able to identify your needs easier. You're able to live a life that, that's free of a need to check in with someone,
Yes.
You get?
Always apologizing for things.
Exactly. There we go.
Having to over-explain why, something you've done in a specific way.
There you go.
God, this is like my own therapy session,
Exactly. And you're stuck in this cycle.
God, I know a lot of my friends who are laughing at me for some of the things that I'm talking about. So let us take it back a bit.
Okay.
We've spoken about the communication, some of the struggles that that occur there. Like just figuring out the dynamics. But here, let's go to diagnosis.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk, a bit in terms of the, the relationship dynamics. But for a lot of people, the diagnosis, like for me, I was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. This, like, one of the things maybe we are trying to do here is, make it better. Like, have people maybe be diagnosed 5-10 years earlier. It would change a lot for them.
Absolutely.
But let's say this is a couple. Maybe they've dated for a while. Maybe they're settled down. Maybe they even have a family. They've been having their struggles. Sometimes people believe, maybe once we stay together, things will get better. The added stresses of being like in a relationship, the dynamics of it all, then you get a diagnosis. How do you navigate that? Because there is so much I can talk about that, but let me leave it to you. How you have this couple, maybe you are seeing them, or maybe they are referred to you, they're dealing with the diagnosis. How do you take them through that process?
First, I'll start by saying that it's such a complex. There's many mixed emotions when that happens. On one hand, there's a relief. There's a relief there around. Okay, so that makes sense why A, B, C, and D was happening. Oh, that wasn't you being careless. That was you.
Yes.
So this is ADHD, or this is...
Yes.
So there's a sense of relief that can happen, and it makes sense because now you aren't, you're not seeing the person is not the problem.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side, which is hard. It's all the years of pain and hurt and disconnection that happened because none of you could make sense of what was happening.
Yeah.
And so there's grieving there. There's grief there.
Yeah.
There's a grieving around what you thought your relationship was, the hopes you had for the relationship that you didn't see. You
didn't account for.
You didn't account for. Yeah. And then there's a grieving of what you thought your relationship would be.
Yeah.
It has to look a certain way now.
Yes, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And separating, trying to work around that without blame.
Yeah.
Without guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because with a lot of grace.
Because now you both get to remember, maybe, for example, maybe the person who's not struggling with their mental health, or maybe person who's neurotypical, they start getting a reel in their minds of all the arguments that they had, the number of times they lashed out, the confusion with all that and the guilt that accompanies that.
Exactly.
And also maybe for this other person, like, let me take for myself, you start remembering all those arguments, you start getting a level of resentment because in your mind, in your heart, you're trying the best,
exactly.
You are not malintended, and then there's still shame because the other thing,
shame is a big one.
Because one of the other things that maybe having some of these struggles is we tend to forget a lot. That is a time that every single thing from your childhood to the multiple relationships, be it friendships, be it work opportunities, be it romantic relationships, they all start coming flooding back because you mentioned relief. Trust me, that relief is short-lived.
Is it? Yeah.
It is like 5 business days.
And then life hits you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is extremely short-lived because even I was talking about our experiences and the negative perceptions that we have, we will always find a reason to blame ourselves. Because it gets to that point you're like, yes, I'm mad at this person, they didn't recognize it, but I didn't as well. I didn't know what to ask. I didn't express, hey, I am trying, I don't intend to be late at this. I didn't intend to forget that we had this important lunch that we planned to go for. I didn't remember your birthdays and the fact that maybe we had to, I was supposed to organize something, significant. It's a complex mix of emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can see how, you've brought up a lot of stuff. There's, when you reflect back on all these things in the relationship before the diagnosis, it's hard not to, it's hard to not feel shame or like blaming yourself, feeling, just a lot of negative, I think, self-perception. And because of stigma and awareness, it even, you would think that it would be, like an aha, like, great. Everyone now understands. It's like, oh no, now I'm part of those people who struggle with mental health conditions.
Yeah. That's the time you remember that I need to talk less. I need to, whenever I'm struggling with something, I better keep it to myself. I won't tell my support system. I won't tell my loved one. I won't definitely mention it at the workplace because one of the funny bits, this is an aside from this, is that I get a lot of people who think because they know me and the fact that I speak about this, that maybe the space is better. It's better, for job opportunities when you're trying to, date people. Nah, it's way worse. People infantilize you.
Right.
Some people take you as a project. Listen, if I was to start talking about, it's just that like I have a lot of love for everyone that I've met. Sometimes you also have to kind of recognize the intention is good, but the execution,
missing.
So like there is no reward for this. There is no my journey, my story. The reason why I do this is because, and maybe it's something I'll get comfortable down the line and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
If I didn't do this, I am not sure I'd be here. So like, it's not that for me, yes, this might have been the easier choice. It just wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I get you.
This wasn't easy. It just was. It's just that I was at a point where I was drowning. Like in my head, I was screaming, but no one could hear me. So like I had to talk about it. But things aren't better. Yes, like I think people see there are so many people talking about this thing out here. There's information and all that. And like even at that, we live in very privileged spaces. So don't imagine that the things that you have access to, everyone does. It is very difficult. And maybe stigma is one of those things that I don't think there's enough hours and days to talk about it.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it is. Things are not easy. It's not.
Yeah. That's so true. Especially when you add context. You know, the our context where there's underfunded, under-researched, underserved, lack of accessibility to services. All those things really perpetuate all these harmful narratives about having a mental health condition. And even the people who feel it the most are the people who are struggling, who have this diagnosis. And not just so. As I'm hearing you speak, like the burden of awareness now falls on you.
100%
to advocate for yourself. And it's a lot to be placed on you, and yet there's an expectation that if you don't speak up for yourself, how are you going to find support or help? So there's a lot that you're having to do in your own power that people in other contexts don't need to work as hard.
That is not a labor that they have to strive for.
Exactly.
And you know, the thing that people don't tell you is that even if you advocate for yourself, even if you speak up, chances are you kind of need to have that conversation 100 times. 99 times, maybe the 100th time is when people will listen. I think that's a good place to take a bit of a break. That was a bit heavier than expected. But let's take a quick break, then we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Liminal Minds podcast. Today, I'm joined by Chichi. We are talking about mental health, neurodiversity, and relationships. But before we get back to the conversations, like I usually prepare some questions that just to like help people understand things and for people to be able to get a better feel for who you are as a person. So like I have a couple of questions. They are like these one I think like true or false, but these are mostly like about you as a person.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
I'm ready.
So the first one: what's something you are proud of that most people wouldn't think to celebrate?
Oh wow!
Yes. Yeah, I like when people think about some of these things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I feel, when I sleep well, when I have consistent weeks where I am sleeping well, sleeping enough hours, feeling well rested, I feel like I've achieved some medal. Like sometimes I wish people can just, wow, good job for sleeping so well. It's something I'm proud of. Like I work on my sleep hygiene and this year I feel like I've hacked it and I'm proud of it. Yeah.
Just describe for people like what sleeping well looks like for you.
What sleeping well looks like for me.
Yeah.
So I go to bed at 9 p.m. I take magnesium glycinate to sleep. It reduces stress, reduces any anxiety, relaxes my body.
Yeah.
I also read a book before I sleep. I don't take my laptop to my bedroom. I don't do any work in my bedroom, in my bed.
Yeah.
And when I have blackout curtains, so it's conducive for me to just shut down.
Okay.
When I go to bed, I read a book.
Yeah.
I spend about 30 minutes to read, 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes, if the book is good, like the other day, I ended up reading 100 pages. I'm like, 100 pages, I'm supposed to be sleeping.
And this is during that 9 to, is it 8 to 9 or 9 to 10?
This is 9 to 10, with the hopes that by 10:30, I am asleep.
Out. Yeah.
Sometimes the book is enough for me to get sleepy and then I just shut down.
Yeah.
But before I shut down, I take deep breaths and communicate to my body that it's time to shut down.
Okay.
So I do maybe 3-4 really deep breaths.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I kid you not, I feel like my body knows that that's a signal. That's it. That's it.
It's used to it. It's learned to do that.
It's learned to do that.
Yeah.
And so I sleep.
Yeah.
And I wake up.
Yeah.
9 hours. My aim is 9 to 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So I used to be so hard on myself around wake up at 5 in the morning and do all the things that people do at 5 in the morning.
Yes.
But I realized what helps me function better with my days if I sleep well and my body rests and rejuvenates, and it also reduces inflammation in my body. So I'm not feeling unwell. I'm not setting myself up to feel unwell if I sleep well.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud. I'm really proud of it. I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I take it very seriously.
I imagine there are a couple of people now, that LeBron James meme, like, listen to this. This person, 9 to 10 hours, that is what is healthy. Because like we have this culture of, hustle hard.
Right.
And now everyone who doesn't live up to that, go to bed at 10, wake up at 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that, anyone who doesn't do that, like that is a failure. And listen,
exactly.
I move through seasons whereby I have those times where like I need to sleep more, and then there are times like I just can't sleep.
Yeah.
One of the best pieces of advice I've ever got from the late Andrea Gibson was stop fighting it. If you are at a moment whereby your body does not want to sleep, figure out how to be productive. But when that time comes where your body needs to sleep, we need to listen to our bodies more.
Absolutely.
This one I got from a couple, and maybe the answer that I got from research might be false to me comparatively to your experience.
Okay.
So true or false, couples who argue are more likely to stay together than those who don't.
True.
Yeah, that was the same answer that I got, because
true.
Conflict avoidant gang, we are here,
research was done that there are 3 types of couples that stay long term.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I forget the third one, but the first one is what we call volatile couples, where they argue a lot or they fight a lot, but they end up staying together for long. Yeah. And when I say volatile, I don't want to. I'm not saying abusive.
Yeah.
And part of that is because you're not leaving things unsaid.
You don't keep things.
You're not keeping things. Someone is not guessing where you're at. They're likely, if they're dissatisfied, you will know. And so, but also it can be a lot of chaos in the home, a lot. So volatile couples have been researched. They stay together for a very long time.
This one applies to, you can answer maybe from a perspective from your practice or personally, but what question do you wish people would ask you more often?
Wow.
Like, yes,
my clients asking me or anyone?
It can apply both ways. Both as your clients, sometimes maybe you are in a session or maybe from your experience, I wish people ask me this more often, or like even friends, family, whatever. It can apply either way.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, can I ask another question? Ask about like me or about themselves? A question about me or about themselves?
About themselves.
About themselves.
Yes,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I wish people would ask me more to reflect on their strengths or things that they do well that they
don't acknowledge.
They don't acknowledge. They're not perceiving.
Yeah.
But so, for example, a question would be: are there, maybe me asking you, Ngunu, are there things about me that you see that I don't see?
Okay.
Positive things about me that,
or maybe that I haven't seen you acknowledging and talking about, or other people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And why that we, again, the kind of, we talk about upbringing, we talk about the environment that we exist in, really put us in we're constantly running, constantly trying to achieve, we push ourselves so hard that we don't stop to appreciate the things about ourselves that we do effortlessly, that is good, positive, and can create this, healthy narratives about who we are.
Yeah.
It's so important that we remind ourselves as often as possible, because we don't, every other negative thing is, people don't, you'll be told. Let's say if you don't show up and we are meeting somewhere, I'll tell you, but then Ngunu, that was so wrong of you. Why didn't you tell me? I'll tell you those things very easily.
Yeah.
But we don't create enough spaces to just talk about the good and the positive. And I saw a clip someone shared yesterday, that the kinds of friends who we always say, we talk about how good friends are the ones who will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But this person was saying, which was so enlightening for me, that they're good friends are also those ones who you can call and tell them about an achievement or something good that you've done. And just, wow, like you can't wait to just share it with them. For some, it might look like it's bragging. But that's not it. There are people where when you find friends, you can just tell them about something good that's happening. That's great. And it's because we don't create spaces enough to just talk about that.
And the fact that maybe if you were to do it like openly, people will perceive it as bragging.
Exactly.
So like you need to have those spaces whereby, all weather friends, so that like when you those type of people who would be offended if you have something to celebrate and don't mention it. Like, then what are we doing here? If you only contact me when maybe there are bad things are happening, like we need like, and some, the best way to like achieve to celebrate some of these achievements is by sharing with the people that we love and care for. Listen,
absolutely.
Even when I was trying to imagine some of the responses, like, you've taken us like really, really deep into some of those. But like, that's the point. Like, I want people to understand the person behind, some of these answers, because I am also wary of how people perceive me when it comes, especially once you start talking about this stuff a lot. People view you as like just this, like source of information, like point me up. And there are people nowadays who just call me if they have, like they have a relative who's unwell and they need pointers. Please call me when you want to talk about music, when you want to talk about football.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like don't always expect like, serious, well thought out answers. And I need that space to exist as well.
We need to create those spaces.
Yeah, like, and also now, so as we try and wrap up a bit, one of the things that are undoubtedly affected when, mental health struggles and neurodiversity intersect with relationships is the physical and emotional and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Try and also paint a picture for people. How does this manifest? And maybe down the line you can also tell us what we can do to negate that those effects and how they affect relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll for sure, physical and emotional intimacy sometimes get hit the hardest. In those relational dynamics where it's a neurodivergent and a neurotypical partner.
Yeah.
And the way it manifests, so in the case of maybe if you're struggling with anxiety or depression, probably because of medication, because of the mood or hormones, you have low libido.
Yeah.
Meaning you're going to withdraw from your partner, trying to initiate intimacy physically.
Yeah.
For someone with autism, PTSD, anything that has any sensory sensitivities, it means you might be uncomfortable with certain textures or certain sounds or certain
even sometimes physical touch as well.
Yes, exactly. Touch. And what the thing there is, these are manifestations of your autism or the PTSD or whatever, and not because you don't care for the partner.
100%.
And so it's a lot. There's a lot of empathy there because you have to remind the other person, it's not that I don't care for you. It's not that I don't want to be intimate with you. It's not that I don't want to have sex with you. It's this is how I'm struggling, for, we talked about medication. Loss of libido is something that we do not talk enough about.
100%. And just to cut in a bit.
Yeah.
And this is a word to the medical health professionals. They don't take seriously enough. When someone, I'm grateful for the psychiatrists that I see, and this is after seeing so many, they do not take the side effects of these medications and how they impact the quality of our lives. Because we are all different, and there are things that matter to other people. Even there are things that matter to me in different seasons that maybe they won't matter at another time. So those things need to be taken into consideration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but sorry for interrupting.
No. That's so important. That's very important, and it's actually going to. I was going to say what exacerbates these issues or this disconnection, physical and emotional, is being dismissed, being judged. No one really being curious. No one, your partner not being curious, your doctor not being curious, people around you not being curious. And so when the experience or the primary experience is feeling misunderstood or feeling judged or feeling dismissed.
Yeah.
And then the thing that goes through your mind is, okay, I'm too much. I'm just too much of a problem.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Hey.
Yes. And that is a Pandora's box.
Exactly.
If anyone, and this also applies to neurotypicals.
Yeah.
If anyone was to open that box, what is wrong with me?
Yeah. Exactly.
You will always find something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So imagine adding that in neurotypical cases, there's all other layers to do with intimacy, what makes it hard and blah, blah, blah. So add in neurodivergence, it's a whole monster,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure to perform or be normal, quote unquote. Emotional disconnection happens because if physically you're struggling to be intimacy, over time, that creates distance.
Yeah.
Over time, sex becomes rare.
Yeah.
Intimacy becomes maybe you have to get maybe into a schedule. Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
But over time, it can feel very mechanical.
Yeah.
And that doesn't promote intimacy. Because the thing about intimacy, it's why we don't call it sex.
Yeah. It's beyond that.
It's beyond that.
Yeah.
And so when we make it just about sex, then you miss out on intimacy. Intimacy means like, in my mind, what comes to mind is you're having a conversation with your partner fully naked about anything and everything. Like that's intimacy.
Yes.
Like that's, you're seeing each other in your rawest form.
Yeah.
And that's a gift.
Yeah.
That's a gift that we need to appreciate more and more and create more opportunities to experience that. Yeah.
And maybe just to voice for, I know there are people who are listening to this and they are shouting it at the, at their devices.
Yeah.
Scheduling is also intimacy,
Yes.
The thoughtfulness of like,
that's it.
I am here to represent all of you.
Oh yes.
Listen, like the fact that, Monday I'm going to do XYZ. Friday we, like just schedule, like we'll go out.
That intentionality.
Yes, actually that's it. It's the intentionality behind it. The fact that someone else is thinking about you, or rather you've thought about your, both of your welfare. And like, and I get like there are people who like the spontaneity of it all. And that's why maybe you kind of have to separate like sex from intimacy, is that we'll just have this dedicated time for us where we are maybe going to be sat at our, at our sofas or laying in our beds, and this time is for us. Whatever happens there,
exactly.
The fact that we've carved out this time just for the two of us, that in itself is that is intimate as well.
Absolutely. Where you're feeling seen, you're feeling heard, you're feeling acknowledged, and all of those things can happen. Without the actual, I guess, physical description, definition of sex. So I like that example. I think you also asked around stigma, like how do you
so like and maybe this will we can combine it with the question of tips and practices now, like now completely where your therapist hat, and so like there are all these things that maybe in generality, like tips that you can give couples that, how do you navigate, this dynamics? Because like, I imagine maybe these are the same tips you'd give to a neurotypical couple, but maybe like, list them out in a way that maybe people can be able to understand, like how tips and practical tips.
Sure. For before we get into the practical tips, or at least what I tell my couples, and to increase their intimacy or like to increase closeness, is first remove judgment out of the room. And that's a hard one. We are very judgmental beings, but what your partner needs to know and understand is, or rather what your partner needs to feel, neurotypical or otherwise, is to be considered. And I might not know all the sensory difficulties you're experiencing, or like low libido, but I want you to feel that I want you to feel that I consider you. I want you to leave this conversation, this experience, this conversation interaction we are having, feeling considered. And that then communicates to the partner who's struggling, that they're not judged. All these thoughts that, what's wrong with me? Am I too much? They're not leaving that interaction feeling that way when there's curiosity and consideration from the other partner.
100%. I can attest to that.
And we have to normalize these conversations with the couple. So when you talk about tips, are we having conversations, check-in conversations about how we are doing? With our intimacy, with our sex life, with our communication.
Like even with the normal routines, like even just our day-to-day.
Our day-to-day, exactly. The routines that we set last month, are they still working for you? Are there things that I'm missing out on that I can improve around? And so if you're not having, so daily, could be daily, weekly, monthly practices around checking in on those routines. And this also goes ahead to build resilience. Those difficult conversations we keep talking about, they don't stay difficult. They become easier over time when you put in the practice, and putting in the practice is the checking in. And where there's a routine around that. Monthly, we're having this conversation. 5 months down the line, that conversation will be so easy to have.
Yeah.
Because there's safety involved.
Yeah.
There's consideration. There's intentionality. There's also what we call body doubling, like where you're doing tasks in tandem with each other or in parallel with each other, where you're sharing routines, you're sharing tasks so that someone doesn't feel alone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're struggling with ADHD and forgetfulness. Alafu, I've told you. So when I come back home, please make sure Nipate A, B, C, and D has been done. There's nothing, like, I can't control if in that moment when I'm away.
Like even the framing of that, the anxiety that...
Already.
Like you can already see how I'm going to feel this. Like, instead of...
You're setting me up for failure.
100%. 100%.
And the thing I could do as someone who I'm not struggling with forgetfulness is let's do it together.
Yeah.
Let's reduce the mental burden of this is up to you to do it.
Yeah. Because
your brain might fail you.
Yeah.
There's also, I can't talk about the power of co-regulation enough. So co-regulation is where I'm able to show up for my partner who is struggling with regulating their own emotion and just sitting with them in that space. And co-regulation can look like hugging. You don't even need to speak.
Yeah.
Holding hand.
Yeah.
Holding your partner's hand. Affirming them as they're going through whatever process they're going through right now.
Yeah.
What we typically end up doing is we try to remove that stress immediately for them and we think we are co-regulating.
Yeah. Sometimes
that's not the answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's letting your partner who's anxious go through the anxiety. If or two, all you got to do is just maybe sit next to them, hold their hand, hug them, and let it pass, let it go through.
Actually, I hadn't thought of that because let's see the question I asked you earlier about some of the struggles that maybe someone has to go through individually. I hadn't thought of maybe like, yes, maybe you have to go through it individually, but you don't have to be alone.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
And in addition to that question, there's a responsibility of healing that we carry as the individual who's struggling.
Yeah.
So the person, and then there's a responsibility of your partner being in the role in which they can take to help support your healing.
Yeah.
So that co-regulation is something a partner can do.
Okay.
And the person who's struggling, using the same example as anxiety, their role and responsibility is to do the breathing. I can't breathe for you.
Oh, yes.
I can't breathe for you. I can tell you breathing in helps, but you have to do that work.
Yeah.
And so that when you do that and I'm co-regulating and holding your hand, that helps. That's a good tip to just build resilience together. Therapy, can't speak it enough, especially with neurodiverse affirming therapists.
Yeah.
Not every therapist understands, can provide safety and curiosity to explore that. Some tools that I've found to be helpful is there's what we call Gottman Card Deck app.
Yeah.
It's a free app on iOS and I think on Android.
Yeah.
And it has questions relational for couples, questions to do with literally any and everything, including intimacy, emotions, communication, feelings, open-ended questions, like it could be anything. So it's just a set of decks, set of card decks with different topics that a couple, what I've done with couples is we've opened them in session and I've asked them to choose something that they'd like to work on or talk about as a couple.
Okay.
And then we go through the deck together.
Yeah.
Guided, practical therapist guided tools. Again, every couple is unique. So I can't right now say, these tools for sure work because we have to appreciate the uniqueness of, you can have two people can have ADHD and it will manifest differently.
Yeah.
What works for someone might not work for the other.
There's a uniqueness of the relation of the couple and the individuals.
Exactly. So as you're working with therapists or in your own resources, whatever resources, however, could be podcasts. Go to podcasts that talk about the things that you're struggling with, or look for podcasts that talk about those topics.
At the Liminal Mind pod.
There we go.
Yes.
Such as this podcast. Go on YouTube, search these things. Take what's for yours. Take what's for you. Not everything will fit for you, but there's something out there that will make you feel seen and heard, because while we are unique individuals, our experiences are likely shared in some way, some
language to describe what you're going through.
Yes.
If you don't have that language, you'll always feel you're drowning. You always feel you're stuck. That is like an immeasurable benefit of like trying to look for information. And I think this also applies to both, maybe someone who doesn't have a mental health struggle, maybe the partner is a neurotypical who's in a relationship with a neurodivergent person. Like one of the ways to show that you care is like use your own time, try and figure out, get information. And of course, maybe also from my end of trying to tell other people who maybe, someone who's neurodivergent or in someone struggling with a mental health issue, also extend grace like when trying to inform this other person. Because, like example, don't see at wakati you've been in an argument, then you come across an Instagram reel like trying to timing. No. Timing is important. Wait until like things are okay. Don't this is not a gotcha moment. Like this is your life. This is someone that you care for. The grace that maybe you want extended to you as you're going through all this, as you're discovering yourself, also extend to to your partner, to your relatives, to your friends, and of course, and vice versa.
Absolutely. In fact, if I had a parting shot, that would be exactly it. Practice curiosity 24/7.
Yes.
Ask why your partner behaves a certain way and assume it comes from a place of need and not malice. So when talk about, just as an example, when talked about intimacy, when your partner withdraws from sex and you've initiated it, it's so easy to take that hurt rejection as oh my God.
Taking things personally.
Right. Can you imagine the power of curiosity in that moment, being like, I wonder what my partner is trying to communicate when they say no.
Yeah.
When they recoil from touch. What's happening with them that's leading to that behavior?
Yes.
That curiosity provides more opportunity for growth and connection and closeness than, personalizing it. Because also, and I get it. Also, this is me humanizing it. Maybe I get it. When you take it personal, I get it.
Yes. Because it applies both ways. Like,
yes.
Because like when you are like in the right headspace, then this other person, obviously, like people we are in different seasons. Sometimes we feel differently. You open the door for withdrawing yourself. So this person feels comfortable. Hey, maybe like I am at this moment, like I just don't feel it. You definitely take it personally.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
And also, yes, absolutely. It definitely applies vice versa, because not every initiation of sex is coming from a healthy place. Could be avoidance. I don't talk about emotions, so we will have sex.
Yes. And that's just touching the surface, Yeah, that's a whole podcast on its own. One probably will be having soon, because I'm trying to figure something out, and okay, so is that it, or did you have any other tip that you wanted to pass along? Because like also maybe as you do that, I also like wanted you to tell people like maybe where, because like I know that you have like that collective that you work with, because you you mentioned like neurodivergent friendly therapists and maybe people who are, care affirming therapists when it comes to people struggling with mental illness. Maybe you can plug that. Maybe if you have something else that you would want to plug. And now as you wrap up, like this is your opportunity.
Oh, this is a time
Yes.
to plug myself.
Yes.
Well, I do have a network of therapists who I know are neuroaffirming, neurodivergent affirming therapists. And the place that I don't know now if I share, I'm about to go into 0768, but the place that you can find maybe information more is on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Holistic Relational Therapy.
Yeah.
It's a page on Instagram.
I will tag it at the on the show notes.
Okay, great. Yeah. And with the collective, our office is in Westlands, and we do see physical clients. We also work virtually, and we create safe spaces for anyone who is curious about their relationship, their journey, who they are as a person. Yeah. If anyone is listening to this and they're like, I don't know, I've always felt like I could be somewhere in the spectrum of something. Yeah. Please, reach out, and then we can do whatever assessments that are needed.
You do assessments for?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Not for autism. Autism, I work with other therapists who diagnose and assess for it. Yeah. But other stuff, yes.
Okay. That I didn't know that. So yeah, and is that it, or is there anything else that you?
Am I missing to say something else? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you gave your parting shot, which was...
oh yes, parting shot is curiosity.
Yeah, practice curiosity, yeah.
Practice curiosity, be in consideration of your partner at all times. Yeah. Work on removing, or work on... an encouragement is to, we carry a lot of shame. Yeah. And so when we do self-worth stuff and we affirm ourselves and affirm our journeys, then we remove a lot of this blame and a lot of the guilt and a lot of the shame that comes with being different. Yeah. You are enough. Who you are as a person, with all the uniqueness of who you are, that's enough, and it has its place.
Yeah. That is very... that's a great note to end this. I'm grateful for taking a time. I think so many people, people in relationships, people who, romantic relationships, people, as they relate to their parents, their friends, like there's so much to learn there. And I feel like there's still so much to uncover there. And like, I'm sure you're going to be back here soon and maybe get into the meat of, some of these things. Like, and help people understand more what we're talking about, but I think it's a good place for people to start. I think there's, people need to kind of process this bit by bit. So I think that will be more than enough for today. Thanks again for coming. I'm grateful. So that's been the Liminal Mind podcast. Please check us out on YouTube and Spotify at Liminal Mind Pod. Follow, subscribe, comment if you have any queries. If you want to ask Chichi any question, I'm sure we can get her and record something small if there's a very specific issue that you want her to address, or even on social media, we can figure something out. Thanks again. Please, everyone, again, follow us on YouTube. Tell people about this. I'm sure there's so many people who'd appreciate everything that we've spoken about. Yeah. This has been the Liminal Minds podcast, where minds color beyond the margins.